Welcome back to another episode of the Randy Wilson Podcast. This is episode 44. You tuned in to what I like to call Virginia's #1 podcast for hip hop culture and society. And we have a Virginia staple, a real Virginia staple, but not just a Virginia staple, a man who's made a name for himself across the whole music industry. He's got production and he's been a contributor to people like A$AP Ferg, King Push, Razjah. I mean, you got so many. Mike Will, Ray Drummond, Sci-Fi the Prince. I think I saw something with Juicy J. Am I right with that?
With Juicy J, well, I used to sample from one of Juicy J old songs into the new single I produced for Ferg, or the old single I did for Ferg Value back in January.
So you good? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I know you good.
Okay, yeah, I hear you. But I had to turn my volume up. So I mean, this is a staple in the Virginia hip hop community for sure. And I think what's so interesting, Razjah, is that, and I don't want to get into the conversation. I mean, it's a collection of guys like you in the 757.
Right.
A lot of times, the people behind the music and behind the words don't always get the recognition and credit that they deserve. And, you know, I'm interested in looking in the connection between you and Lux Luga and Kino Beats, because you three particularly are just standouts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And,
Right.
and that's like going to a high school and having three people on your team go to the NBA.
The
You
big
know what I'm
three.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Episode 44, High Def Razjah. He got a few names out there, but he is a staple, and you guys need to make sure you check him out. So what's good with you, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just blessed, grateful as ever. Just reaping in the blessings and benefits of, the work I've been putting in, just trying to make a name for me and my team, for real, and Virginia.
Yeah, congratulations. I know you just had a newborn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're fresh out of the hospital, huh?
Fresh out of the hospital. First day out.
Wow,
Yeah.
man. But that's a blessing, man. So let's get right into it, man. For those, there's a lot of people who know you, but I think when we do things like this, we're giving the people who know you something, and we're always trying to reach for people who may not know you, who need to get familiar with you. So let's kind of go back and let's start at the beginning so people can kind of get familiar with your story and how you came into this thing.
Well, I'm from Suffolk, Virginia. It's the biggest city in Virginia land-wise, but it doesn't get recognition. We have no movies, no malls, especially where I'm from downtown. I used to play basketball. My family played basketball, my pops, my uncles, and all of that. So I was in the mindset and perception that I was going to emulate my forefathers before me and play basketball. And, I balled for a minute, but when I got to high school, I started getting hurt. I fucked off in school my first year. I was good, then didn't make the team because of grades and shit. So as I got along in high school, like my senior year, somewhere, I was just like, man, like, I want to be a boss. Like, when I get out of school, I want to do something to get money. I want to be rich. And at that time, I went to Kings Fort with Lex Luger, Kings Fort High School, Kings Fort Middle School, Elephants Fort Elementary. He stayed down the street from my aunt in this neighborhood called Burnett's Mill. So I was kind of inspired by what he was doing with this group called VABP in school, and what he was doing with Waka Flocka and stuff. And when I jumped into it, he was blowing up, you know what I'm saying, with OJ the Juice Man and shit. I was listening to anything he produced, and, that drove me to be like, dang, somebody that I could touch, see from my city in the same neighborhood can make it. I know I can. So I jumped into music production.
Did you, so I grew up, we got some things in common. I played basketball too. I played through college and then tried to play in some semi-pro leagues for a while. And then, age started catching up with me and the reality kicked in. But I also grew up a music student. So I'm curious, with you in the earlier years as an athlete, was you involved in music then, like middle school, high school?
No, I was always listening to like old music, and I used to want to be in the band because once I seen drumline, I was like, shit, I want to go play the snares. Like,
Yeah.
I was getting more fascinated with the actual craft of music then.
Mm-hmm.
Actually making beats or DJing then.
So I've watched some of the videos on your Instagram, and there's one particular. I mean, you self-taught, I'm assuming. So I see you on the keys. Can you play the piano?
Somewhat. I can't read music. I can play by ear, but you know, the more I play, it's in the back of my subconscious. I can just play.
That's impressive. That's extremely impressive. So completely self-taught, self-built. Obviously, Lex Luger was an inspiration. I don't know what the difference is. I've never met him. I know who he is by name, but are y'all close in age?
Yeah. Yeah. Lex a year older than me.
Okay, so y'all grew up pretty much peers.
Growing up, I used to like see him, and then I start being around the same people. Then start speaking to him in the hallway, chilling with him before class, seeing him outside, and then just connecting with him and just working. And we got like 120 some collabs or more.
Wow.
We got songs that's artists that people never heard before. I'm talking about like maybe like 60 songs. So like me and Lex been putting in work. Like he one producer that I feel like that we can match each other energy. Like when we working, like he'll workaholic, I'm a workaholic, and one thing about Lex, he always try to find where to work at. And that's what he does.
So you know how it is. Like anytime, I mean, you definitely made a name for yourself, and you're continuing. I don't see you as being happy. I mean, you're continuing to ascend and try to go to the next level. And, you know, I think a lot of times when people are coming up, you know, and somebody has reached a certain level of success, they always kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you got to do for me? How you going to pull us up? Talk to me a little bit about the relationship with him from the standpoint of what did the journey look like? I mean, he went out and he just made some bangers, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it seemed like his success went from here to here fast. And I don't know if it was that bad. Maybe it wasn't that fast. But can you speak to what the journey was like for you particularly? Because I've read where you started making your trips down south and collaborating with Mike Will, and I know that it had to be a process. I know you didn't just jump in the studio and all of a sudden start these relationships with all these you know, mainstream artists. So talk to me a little bit about how that process went.
Well, believe it or not, I was doing like street promotions. Like that's my first ever job in music. I used to pass out flyers for this group in Suffolk called Ill Indies. And being around them had me like inspired. I used to see them make music, do interviews, and I was in the hood. Like I was in downtown Suffolk in the street. So when I was seeing stuff like that, I was like, dang, like it's cool. And you know, it led me to this guy named Batman, which was one of my old managers, my peers, still one of my bros, my mentors. He interned for Def Jam, and you know, he gave me the opportunity to do that with him. And he was working with Travis Porter, 2 Chainz back then. We was going to Atlanta and passing out flyers, and in between, I was making beats. But being around Quez, Ali, 2 Chainz, Issa, it was giving me more like inspiration, like, dang, I'm actually next to these guys. So all I need to do is do the work. So I would do things like when we come back, I'll hustle up some money just to go back to Atlanta, just to try to get in the studio to play beats, even if it was spending my last or going get a job, filling the job out to work for 1 month, save the money up just to go get a computer and go take a trip. Like I was doing stuff like that. You know, if I worked the job, I never planned on being there longer than 6 months, longer than 3 months sometimes.
Yeah.
So once I, you know, was content with being at home making beats and, you know, getting the bread I was getting, you know, the mental is powerful. Like I just started tapping into stuff that I couldn't do if I had a job. I started reaching out to people with celebrities and pictures. I click on their social media, see who they in pictures with, click on that picture, boom, I can get to him and I can get to this person. And, you know, that's how I kind of got the Ferg. I got the Ferg when Drake introduced Rocky as his opener. And I was like, who is A$AP Rocky? Let me send him some beats. found Ferg, and I was like, dang, let me send him some beats too. And when I emailed the beats to Ferg, emailed me back in like 30 minutes and was like, yo, these is fire. Where you from? And that's how I jumped in the game. From there,
Wow.
it went up. Yeah, it went up. And
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's real. I mean, you wasn't even really trolling necessarily. I mean, that was kind of early. I mean, because you've been in the game for a minute now. So that was kind of early. That was before the term was even used. I mean, you was basically figuring out how to manipulate through social media to get to artists. And that's smart. Like, everyone knew who A$AP Rocky, well, maybe back then, maybe not so much, but A$AP Rocky was the first one in the A$AP crew that really got out first. And shit.
Yeah, this was 2010.
Him and Ferg are like Pierce now. I mean, like, they both got their own fans.
Yep. And like I said,
with Rocky before?
Huh?
You done music for Rocky as well? It just ain't out yet. Okay.
Oh, I'm not. Okay, what I can say about that is I sent him beats and I met him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I FaceTimed him one time, sent him a beat saying one thing. They just record music. If they recorded some of my beats, I wouldn't know till it comes out. You know,
okay.
So it's probably like that to a lot of producers, unless you there or you real like this to them and they trust you and they can send it to you. But artists protect the folk of the music. So,
go back real quick. So you said the artists record over your music, and you don't know it until it comes out.
Yeah, not in terms of like that. If they decide to put it on an album, then they'll contact you to do the paperwork.
Okay.
It ain't just come out. But
I got you.
They'll record a bunch of songs probably over the month, and then when it's time to choose, they play them all, and they be like, okay, this was gonna go on the album. Then when they get that final whatever track list, they'll contact you.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Yeah.
So, talk to me a little bit about. I see you got some credits on with Pusha T.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done? Have you done work with him? Was it him specifically, or was it with the clips? Tell me about that, because I'm not familiar with the track.
Well, it was a track No Dope on Sundays. It's a side had a Prince featuring Pusha T on it.
Got you.
And me and Lex actually collabed on that beat. We did the second half. It's a 2-part beat. We did the second half of that beat, and he sent the side high Prince. And I remember one day we went to the studio, and he was like, "Yo, Pusha on." He said, "I got Pusha on the joint," and he got a relationship with Lex, so we actually heard the record before it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
That's what's up, man. That is crazy. Have you formalized your relationship with Push?
Yeah. Push.
Yeah.
You know, OG to me. You know, I used to be in the studio with Bia, Pharrell's old artist.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be in there. We used to conversate then. I used to sing like the In Time for Batman. You know, I text him on holidays and congratulate him on stuff. And you know, sometimes I send him beats and he'll give me that opportunity. So, you know, he can, and, you know, I got a lot of respect for him, man.
That's real, man. You know, the one thing I want to make sure I emphasize here is that this is a podcast. The emphasis and focus is on you, but for the audience and the people who are listening, sometimes you have to kind of go left and right a little bit, because you got to figure out what's going to pull people in. And I think it only gives you more credibility, because I've been in this company a few times, but I don't have a relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? I think the reality for most people out here, that's whether they artists, bloggers, whatever the case is, everything that we're doing is part of the process of trying to develop the relationship, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that, because I don't want people listening being like, yo, you talking to Razjah, but why are you talking to these other people? But you got to look at his credits.
Right.
That's part of what makes you who you are, your ability to get to connect people. And it can't be just based off the music, because obviously, I mean, you got to know how to do business. You know what I'm saying? And when you deal with people who got big bags of money and big platforms, like, you can't just be no ordinary guy. You know what I'm saying? You got to have something special about who you are, man. Which, again, why it's great honor to have you on the show. You know what I'm saying? Because this podcast will reach people that I don't know because of you. So I'm very appreciative of that, man. But while we in Virginia, and I'm gonna segue into different places, but while we in Virginia, you're from Suffolk. Do you still live in Suffolk?
No, I don't live in Suffolk anymore.
But you're still in Virginia.
I'm still in Virginia.
Is Virginia going to keep you?
You know, a lot of people been trying to get me to move out of here and be like, yo, go where the energy at, or everybody that made it here, they left to make it. And I mean, that's in my ear, but, you know, I like to do what 99.9% of the people ain't doing. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's to keep me here. You know, my family here, my new daughter here, get her time to bond with my family. So, yeah, I might be here for a minute.
Well,
I might get another crib somewhere else too, but
yeah,
for the most part, they ain't gonna keep me.
I mean, I think that's what, you know, everyone on social media is always talking about. I see a lot of artists like manipulating Virginia, in my opinion, because everyone's screaming Virginia, screaming Virginia, screaming Virginia. But Glass and I talked about this on the podcast that we did too. Like everyone's screaming Virginia, but at the end of the day, any chance they get a little bit of success or they get a little bit of money, they quick to dip on Virginia. They quick to skip Virginia or even credit Virginia. So I think what makes Virginia valuable is, I think what makes Virginia valuable that there's a lot of people in Virginia who may not have mainstream names, but Virginia is a hub for really good music. It's in the middle, you know,
Right.
It's in the middle of the East Coast. And I'm hopeful that guys like you do stick around because it's only going to continue to add value. Push said when he let Corey out, he spoke about the Chitlin Circuit of Virginia, and how he was trying to, you know, to kind of create that. So you've been in the mix of that. Like, how do you see Virginia hip hop evolving right now?
They're gonna evolving fast. Like as we speak, yo, I think one thing Virginia got is the work ethic. Everybody gonna get up and make their music. They can shoot their videos. Like everybody got their drive.
Mm-hmm.
I think what will make us progress even faster is just the information on how to move and the tools that you need to get to that elevation that you want. You know, as far as publicists and learning how to market yourself better and branding.
Yeah.
We're also researching, like reading books on music, man. Like if you want something, you need to research it. Like you ain't gonna be no doctor and just work on nobody without knowing what to do just because you know how to put a thermometer in somebody's mouth. Like just because you know how to record music and get your video shot, you got to know how to handle the business of it.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do it. And, you know, it's a lot of artists, not to shame them, but just to teach and to give the knowledge. A lot of artists be dropping the music and forget to register it or forget that you're supposed to be monetizing the music as well. You know, I know you're trying to get an audience, but you know, the goal is to make money off of music and to monetize and touch people. So,
yeah,
like I said, just the small intangible things that it's the information, lack of information is miscommunication. All of it.
What Virginia artists, you know, we doing this this is for the gram specifically, but at the same time, I think it's always important that we give and show love and flowers. And I'm not trying to get you to not name everybody because then if you don't name somebody, then you know, that ain't it. But like, who is, you know, let me just say, who are you listening to in Virginia?
In Virginia?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you who you like, who your top, but I mean, who got your ear? You know, if you get a chance to just, you know, you ride in the car and you want to hear something, like who you listening to?
Lately, I've been bumping that Jug Tro by Eric Hardaway, that his intro to that John Jug Tape 2, that John Fire. Bump that Who the Fuck Is John Crazy. Rari too, yo, he got some music that ain't even out yet. I'll be bumping some unreleased Jinx, you know, Young Raj. It's a girl, Corin Grace. I've been listening to. Man, I think I listen to a lot, but lately that's what I've really been bumping through.
Yo, when we put this together, man, I may need you to help put me on to those folks, who they are, so I can make sure I tag them appropriately. Because I get put on. You know what I'm saying? I get put on. There's so many artists, there's so many people. You know what I'm saying? And I just continue to learn. You know I have my interest in what I like. And I struggle a little bit with balancing what I like between maybe some of the things I need to listen to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna need your help with that.
It's a dude named Lonnie Man that's out in Newport News. He got like a G Herbo vibe, like a Davies vibe. He been getting attention from like Dave East, who was on this mixtape.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I worked with him on a record. He put it out as well as on his Instagram, but he developing too. So
That's what's up, man. So you grew up in the Suffolk area. You from the 757. Obviously, I'm in Richmond. Have you worked with any artists in the Richmond area? Are you familiar with the Richmond hip hop scene?
a little. I work with a producer out there named Rio out there in Richmond.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Rio made this. I work with him out there. I know about RVA Kiddo. I know about Stay Solid Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a dude out there named T Head first. I don't think a lot of people know who he is, but he's fire.
Yeah.
He don't even make a lot of music like he used to, but if you see this, like, yo, he's fire.
Gotcha. Yeah, appreciate you shouting those names out, man. So let me hold up. There we go. Sorry, I had a sound issue for a minute. So like I said, with my shows, man, I like to it's important to me that people see past the title that a person holds. Obviously you got, crazy music credits. You got gold platinum records, am I right?
Yeah, gold plat, Let It Go with ASAP Ferg. I got a platinum plat, Ray Sherman, Take It or Leave It, co-produced with Mike Will, Yeah, that's valuable. I be looking at, I think, out of Virginia to 7-5, I think, to my knowledge, me, Lex, Gabe Niles are the only ones with plaques out here.
Yeah. How do you
Tosh from Very Rare as well. He was on the album with me. He got a gold plaque too.
Okay. How do you go about nurturing those relationships? You work with these artists, you create great music with these artists. Like, what's the balance on how you nurture those relationships? And when I say balance, because I mean, you won't want to, you're not sitting here trying to sweat them completely. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you're trying to get another one. You want another one,
It's just keeping good rapport with them, checking in with them, realizing that they humans too, and then they got feelings, and not wearing them to death or abusing your privilege just because you got your phone number, or not just trying to make them feel like you're trying to make a quick buck. So you just got to be compassionate, and you just got to know that they got feelings too.
That's what's up, man.
Yep.
That's what's up. Good. So yeah, so I like to get past. I want people sometimes to see past the title. People know you're a producer. They see you have, you reach this level of success. But I want people to also be familiar with, maybe your perspective or point of view in certain areas right now. So lately, I've been talking to all my guests about this. Obviously, we in the time of the corona. You know what I'm saying? And maybe your words may have an impact on somebody who hears it from your perspective. Like, where do you see this corona thing in regard to like let me go back. How comfortable are you, if any at all, right now when it comes to working in the studio, working with artists? What is that like right now for you?
Kind of super comfortable right now. I miss going to the concerts and stuff, man. I miss concerts. I miss festivals. I miss sports. I just miss the entertainment around it. But as far as what's going on with me, I have no problem. I still go to the studio, still bringing in sync deals, still sending beats to artists, artists still in the studio, but at the same time, everybody's still trying to stay healthy, practicing their social distancing.
Yeah.
It's bringing out the hustling. You still got to work. You can't use this as an excuse to, be down or say you can't do something, because at the end of the day, nobody's stopping you but you.
Yeah. Yeah. You ain't passing that blunt in the studio, are you?
Sometimes it depends. Most of the time, I get my business manager to roll a blunt for me, and
Yo, I'd say, a lot of people I've been hearing like, look, keep it solo, man. We gotta be smart. We gotta, smoking distance.
Yeah, for real.
So you are. It sounds like you're in a comfortable space with Corona. I mean, it sounds like you leaning on faith and not allowing fear and anxiety to take over.
Nah, I'm a real strong spirit and strong willed person. like I said, my viewpoints and perspective on different things kind of, you know, drive me just to keep working for real, you know. Especially I had my new daughter, so I know I'm gonna be triple overtime working, but I do that every day. I work on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's up, man. What does it take to get you in your creative space? Like, is it something that has to happen? Are you just as creative when you down and out? Are you more creative when you hyping inside it? Like, because you seem like a real mellow, chill guy.
That's a good question. It's just the vibes, man. Like I just go in the studio and I just work for real, you know, how I'm feeling. I let the music tell me how I'm feeling for real. I just can't go in there and be like, okay, I'm gonna make a beat like this. Like, nah, I just gotta play the keys and wherever it take me to, it just take me to. You know what I'm saying? Give me a blunt, give me some lights, give me maybe like a candle or two, and I'm good.
I was talking to someone, you know him better than me. I think his name's Kurt. He was giving you a lot of respect and shout out one day. You know what I'm talking about, Kurt?
Kurt Barnes?
He got his brother's the camera guy, right?
Yeah, I know Kurt.
Yeah. He was shouting you out one day. I don't know what it was. We was having a conversation. It might have been on live, and you might have got in it. I don't know. And he was like, yo, that's my guy, Razjah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kurt Barnes. I know Kurt. That's my guy. Shout out.
I don't know Kurt like that, not too much, but I've heard he's been around, and I heard he's been messing around with this music stuff for a long time in different capacities.
Yeah. Man, Kurt been out here running the clubs, doing media for like Lupe. Used to work with Show Me, you know, and he do marketing, and he worked for radio, Hot 91. You know, Kurt real business driven. You know,
Yeah.
Kurt can relay a message to you, and you know, Kurt. That's how, yeah, Kurt.
That guy. All right. Yo, man, give me a little game real quick, bro. I want some game from you, okay? First, like I said, you was respectful enough to jump on the podcast. How much have you seen? How much have you followed with the podcast? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because I'm interested in your perspective from a producer side. You know, with podcasts like what I got, and there's other people that got them too. You know what I'm saying? What is your impression on what podcasts, and you're participating on one, you know what I'm saying? But what is your impression on the impact that it can have on the culture of hip hop and helping podcasters evolve? Like, because one thing I want to stress is this, and I think you may relate to this to some degree as a producer. I post, I reshare, I build my platform completely based off giving love, showing love.
Right.
That don't typically happen on the reverse end. Like, artists aren't saying, yo, you know, artists ain't saying, yo, the Randy Wilson podcast is that platform you need to support. No, it's not happening at all. Only thing they just want, you know, I feel like artists appreciate having an opportunity to be heard.
Right.
Again, because they want you to go listen to their music. And I respect that. I'm a fan of it. But what's your perspective on it, on the reverse side?
I mean, on the reverse side, for me following it, man, just I looked at the interview when you did with Keno. Was it Keno and Crazo?
Yeah.
The Yawn interview.
Yeah.
And just the questions you ask, man. It's like the interviews I look at, I like looking at or doing interviews where people ask good questions and dope questions, because artists may want it, like on this side, artists may want a platform to speak and let people know about them and maybe get their followers up, and you on the same thing. But on the mental side, it's like you may bring something out of them that they don't know and nobody wants, and that question might spark something, you know? It happens unplanned or unnoticed. So for me watching, like, you got good questions, you got like good postures, and you into it, you know, you get deep in the details, and you don't just ask the same questions like, you know, how you get producing, what age you start producing. It's like, it's not the basic questions, like you really get intricate with it, you know?
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. I need the feedback, to be honest with you. I need the feedback because I'm approaching 50 soon, and I'm getting ready to change some things up. I'm continue podcasting, but I want to create a service. Like, I want to create services now, packages. You know what I'm saying? Like, Like if there's an artist that is trying to have something they want to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know them, and I may rock with them, I may not. It depends. But I feel like there's got to be levels. Like if I'm sitting down with Razjah, I'm gonna sit down with Razjah. We're gonna be face to face. But it may be that I do some things like Vlad, you know, where I give you 10, 15 minutes, you pay this, blah, 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 and here's your opportunity to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta figure out what next steps to take it, you know.
Right.
I mean,
to me, I just think, like I said, you're doing everything you need to be doing. I just think if you get a publicist and somebody who really got those connections in them offices like that, and they can utilize your craft and your network and your platform, because it ain't just like music where everybody trying to do it. You know, podcasts are becoming big in the music world now as well. But if you get that publicist who could get you in those right spots, those right networks, those links up there, like you'll get a broader audience and you'll draw people from like all over, you know, and it will become like more of a service.
I appreciate that. Hey, that's so one of the things right now that I'm doing, and it's probably gonna, I don't care, but like I'm focusing on artists outside of Richmond, and to some degree, I'm gonna put more of a focus on doing that outside of Virginia too, because I can't just focus on Richmond and Virginia, or I'm not gonna grow past it, you know. So hopefully for some of those folks out there who's heavily connected to you and they see this, you know what I'm saying? They may say, hey, that guy has a, you know, cerebral approach toward asking questions. And yeah, because I want to get to the bag with this thing. You know what I'm saying? I think part of it is the passion. I do have passion. I used to work in radio years ago, and you know, I'm trying to find my way back. So appreciate your perspective and feedback there, man. Yes, it's really helpful. So let's go forward, man. Tell me this: what can we expect new from you? I know you're working on something. I know like somebody's getting ready to drop something, and your name is on it. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I could say yes to that. I could say 3 yeses to that.
Okay.
I could say 3 yeses to that. I think, you know, we just dropped the NBA 2K21. They just dropped the soundtrack, and we got value up there for A$AP Ferg. You know, we did the Call of Duty joint with.
Hold up. So you getting ready? So you about to get some NBA money too?
Yeah, we on actually. Value was on ESPN the first take back in February and NBA All-Star Weekend, so we already been doing business with them.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, 2K21, that's gonna be real different. You know, I got another video game that I'm gonna announce, you know, in the coming weeks. You know, I got like 2 more album placements about to drop.
Okay.
I'm working on the Evil Robot Club, and you know, that's really the thing I'm trying to brand right now. You know, Evil Robot, educated business and luxury, and it's mainly, you know, created towards the perception wise. You know, one person's demise is another person's blessing, or you know how they said that the robots are coming to rule the world and we are the machines, but I'm the evil robot. I'm the one they consider evil because I don't follow the system. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be over here and let everybody be over here. So, you know, I got merch coming. I'm working with a couple artists. You know, I got some business things in order that I'm really about to go full force with. And I think it's going to be real, real good and big for Virginia. Unexpected, but it's going to be legendary.
That's what's up, man. So you definitely not short of getting into the bag right now, man.
No, we definitely get into the bag on this side. Shout out to Ferg, and shout out to the team. Shout out to my manager putting in them hours working, like the emails was going crazy. And, you know, it's crazy because just to see the song came out in January, the video came out in April, like 2 days before my birthday. So to see it's still going, and, you know, Ferg just dropped Movie Hits with Nicki Minaj, like, it's just a blessing. Just
talk to me about, so you have a manager.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that relationship. Like, you don't seem like a guy that needs management. I'm assuming they assist you. What is that like? You got a manager.
She actually managed. I think sometimes artists think they need a manager in the beginning. Sometimes you don't need a manager. You know, sometimes you got to, like I said, learn the business and take it on as your own. Then you know what you need in a person to manage you. As far as my manager, you know, my manager, you know, she worked with, you know, the Neptunes before. She good friends with Family, Randy Jackson. You know, she in LA. She in them offices. And I known her for like maybe 5 years through Bia and Family. When I met her at Jag Fest, and I remember when 50 Cent was there, and I took her phone. I didn't know her that I took her phone, and I went on stage with 50 Cent when they was performing, and I did one of these joints, and I was recording. I gave her a phone, and we went to the hotel, and we built a relationship. And I used to always get her to manage me, and like cool shit. Like she took me and Rari, my boy Rari, that I mentioned to you, by far one of the best rappers. No, not even being biased because I'm saying this is my man's, because I got a lot of friends that rap. But she took us to fucking a Drake concert backstage, and I remember we pulled up. Somebody came out, gave us passes. I met Drake road manager Jamil. You know, we was in the damn VIP pit with Jay Prince Jr. We was touching Drake shoes that DJ Khaled had made from Jordan that time, and they weren't even out yet. And like, you know, from that point, it wasn't because of intangible. I'm like, yo, she real cool and she really believe in me. And, you know, other than manage, she really keep my mental good, give me good advice. And, you know, she's there. So all I need is a manager is just somebody, you know, who could get us to the bag, somebody I can relate to. In the morning, to care about me.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. I think when we get offline, I think you're gonna have to let me know if they're looking for any new clients. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She sound like I get it. Like I understand what you're saying though. Like with a lot of artists, a lot of artists need management because their creativity can sometimes, you know, allow them to fantasize and dream and get away from the practicality of the money and the business. So
right.
All right, man. We got like about 10 minutes here, man. I want to switch things up, man, and like let's see if we can get people to get familiar with you and to your perspective on a few things here, okay? Like random questions, just out the blue. Right?
I got you.
But before I go there, though, where do you record out of any particular studio in your area, or do you jump around in different studios? I imagine you probably got a studio at the crib as well.
I got a little set up in the crib, but I was going to Timberland's studio, VV Recording Arts, Black Label in Hampton. Other than that, I really don't go anywhere else. You know, I'm just comfortable with being in like big studios and massive space. But when I'm in California, that's where I'm in. I'm in Paramount. You know, I've been to Chalice Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Conway. I've been in Downtown Studios in New York. So
tell me this, because I went to the studio, I think the guy's named Josh, but it's a Virginia Beach recording studio now. Like, how does that compare to some of these other studios that you've been in?
It's, like I said, the space is professional, the sound quality, you know, cleanliness is next to godliness. So that space is just ambient and, you know, it's blessed for real, it's sacred. It's a sacred space. So like I said, being in those spaces like that, it helps nourish the creativity at the moment. You're like, damn, I'm in this big studio, or so-and-so been in this studio.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Hold did some of the blueprint, I think, in that studio, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake. Yo, there's a producer, man. He had a Petersburg. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, because he's very much on the low, but he actually had cut tracks on the blueprint as well. Now, your boy Lex had tracks on what Jay-Z album?
Lex is on Watch the Throne.
Okay.
Yeah, Ham.
That's right. Damn.
He did. I think he did Look at Me Now with Kanye, Beyonce, and Charlie Wilson on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy with Kanye.
Dang. That's amazing.
Lex got some shit. Lex got some shit that ain't even out yet that is gonna shake. I'm talking about like from 4 years ago. If you play it right now, you'll think you made it yesterday.
Man, I wish I could remember that producer now, because he's a hidden gem. He got like 2 or 3 tracks on the blueprint, and I don't know his story, but from what I hear, the rumor is like he just collecting this money. He might be hypothetically staying still with his parents. Like he ain't really, he ain't really pressed about it. He just getting these bags. But I'll think when I think of it, I'll shoot you a message in your DM.
Gotcha.
All right, man. So Jada Kiss or Fabulous?
Jada.
Jada?
Mm-hmm. I grew up listening to Jada, that's why. I grew up listening to Fab too, but Jada, like I said, I was in the street. I wasn't doing no crazy shit, trying to be no wannabe gangster. You know, I was around friends that was doing that, or, I just adapted where I am. But Jada Kiss, yeah.
All right, Kobe or LeBron?
Kobe.
Kobe, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got to take Kobe. Kobe legendary. Kobe the closest thing to Michael Jordan. If it weren't no Michael Jordan, we wouldn't have no Kobe.
That's
Kobe
real.
had the rings to prove it. The heart, the passion. No, nothing to take away from LeBron because he's great too. But last shot, Kobe didn't have that ball in his hand.
Do you have a relationship with Timberland?
I never met Timberland before.
So Timberland or Dre?
Dre.
Dre?
Dre.
That's tough.
It's tough. It is tough. But the reason I get to Dre is because that music touched the soul. You know what I'm saying? And Timberland got those records, man. He got the, he the bounce. Like if I want to go to the club or if I'm drinking with Jody or something, put that Tim on. If I want to put on for Virginia, put that Tim on. But you know what I'm saying? Most of the time, I bump Dr. Dre. I got Dr. Dre playlists all over my damn Apple Music.
Got you. When you're in this, I know you've worked with a lot of phenomenal artists, but is there one that particularly stands out that you feel like y'all just got that connection when y'all together?
Ferg.
Yeah.
Ferg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 15 hours in the studio. We used to do 15-hour sessions. And I remember I used to go in there and pour my drive up. And I remember like, he'll just like, play it. Next one, play it. Load it up. Do that song. All right, play them. Load it up. Play them. Load it up. Like, we did like 9 songs in like 15 hours. And we did them like 3 days in a row. Like Ferg fucking works.
I know that you said, I know that you just a few minutes ago, you spoke on so many, there's a lot of different ways that you get into the bag, but on the music side, like, do you have any desire to be like a touring DJ producer where you just, you hitting festivals?
I was doing that. I was learning how to DJ, but like more or less, like I'm about to jump into the artist thing. Like I actually.
Let's touch on that. Let's touch on that because I didn't realize until I read something that I think you may have said that Lex played a role at getting you in the studio and getting you. So you rap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I started reading.
Man, a lot of people don't know that. I got fans who be still writing me like, yo, when you can drop something? But like, it went from like being a joke to like, Lex like, yo, you can fucking rap. Like, you should do it. And me and him started rapping, and it went from laughing in the studio one night, bro, to waking up in the morning with like 20,000 plays after he dropped a record. And we like, yo, like this shit going. Like, then 50,000 plays and 100. And at the time, we were so lost in the work, we didn't even know the impact what we was doing. Because we was still so focused on like making these hits. Like, and I just stuck with it. Being in the studio, I worked with this engineer named Andy Rue at Tower Studios that don't exist. That was my go-to spot. And hearing his mix and looking at what he doing, him showing me things, I found my voice, and man, I've been crafting records like industry type shit.
That's what's up, man. I look forward to hearing that, man. Maybe you can let me get a sneak peek of something, man.
Yeah, I dropped you a link and let you hear.
Yeah, I definitely would like to check that out. Who's your favorite Virginia DJ?
Favorite Virginia DJ? DJ DC.
DJ DC.
It's a tough between DJ DC and Izzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's your is there any questions off the table? Just, I mean, if you don't want to answer something, I ain't trying to be too particular about it, but I'm curious of your perception on Glass TV.
Glass. I fuck with Glass.
What's your thoughts on Glass TV?
I fuck with Glass, man. Glass my boy, man. I see him be posting, people be saying, yo, why you ain't posting me? Or, people hating on him, but then I see people saying shout out to Glass and Glass my nigga. So like, I just like I be telling them like, bro, that's what come with it. You know what I'm saying? It's people that's
I'm super impressed with Glass, man. He's
yeah,
like
me too,
he's
yeah,
23 years old.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and when we talked in our last interview, he was giving game, man. He was giving a lot of game. And he was giving me game. I mean, I'm much older than
Right,
Glass. You know what I'm saying? And I
right,
was just like, I walked away from that conversation saying to myself that this might be the most intelligent 23-year-old young man that I've had a conversation with, particularly on industry related things. And I get, I mean, like I said, self-taught, self-made. I mean, if you go straight from high school into it, I mean, you're gonna obtain those skills. So
right.
I'm very impressed with his platform. Any
Yeah.
other podcasts that you've been on recently?
I did just another podcast, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago with Dean the Great.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. Wasn't Jan on that podcast as well?
Yeah, he was on that podcast.
Yeah, I got to go back then. I haven't. Maybe I need to subscribe because I saw his. I need to go check your. Dang, I wish I would have knew that because then I could have checked that one out before we did ours. So, is your episode out?
Yeah, it's out. It's out.
Ah, man. All right. Well, yo, you know what? Before we drop this podcast, right? We need to get together on Zoom. I mean, not on Zoom, on IG Live, because I need to go back and check that podcast out. And then, as we put this one out, we can do a IG Live and promote it. But
Right.
that podcast probably will give me some direction and questions I may want to ask that I haven't asked yet.
I got you.
You following the NBA?
Yeah, I follow the NBA.
You a Laker fan, I imagine, right?
I'm a Spurs fan.
Oh, Spurs. Why?
I like the system.
Oh, you're a methodical type of guy. You gotta be.
I'm different, bro. I'm saying like if everybody over here, I'm over here, and this was like everybody was a Jordan fan. Then I was an Allen Iverson fan. I was a Sixers fan, but when Iverson left, I became a Spurs fan, and shit, we became one of the best teams of the decade.
Yeah, I give you that.
Yeah, Ginobili, Parker, and that's how I be thinking as a producer, like, or how I want to run my shit, like on a system with nice role players, not people with big egos, but we do just enough to take over.
Yeah. All right. So on some hip hop, just straight hip hop, right? Straight hip hop. And I'm not talking about Push, Pharrell, Missy, none of them older legends, none of them. Okay. Who are the GOATs, in your opinion, on the ground right now in Virginia? I'm not talking about the mainstay, folks. I'm talking about the people who are really in the street, really putting music together, really doing that entrepreneur thing, really giving back to the community, taking care of their kids. Like, who do you credit in this hip hop culture in Virginia that's really doing their thing?
Man, like, I like what Crazy doing, as far as his whole packaging, his whole marketing, his music, his timing. I like what Jan be doing. Like, Jan do the music occasionally, but he still do stuff for the community. Back to school stuff, paying for haircuts. Like the DJ Izzy do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you said, and when people do stuff like that, you creating a cornerstone here. You're not just doing a hobby to get bread. You're actually showing compassion again back to the people, and like they can touch you. And those two artists, like, they still here. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter the opinion what nobody got on them or Virginia, or people don't see them as mainstream, like, you can't take away the work or like what they done for real. Like, they still here, they still put in work. They ain't broke, they living lavish, they taking trips and they coming back here to lay their head. So they definitely gonna be legendary. I like what Sonny and Gabe doing. Gabe Niles definitely do stuff for the community, get free pizzas out that I be peeping. They had drives, costume parties, Fake Uzumi, the DJ was doing stuff like. I've been
hearing, and I don't know the guy personally. I've just been hearing the name. I'm gonna drop a name, but I've been hearing that he's been doing these same things in Newport News. Big Money Period, is that right? Am I saying that right?
I never met him, but I heard of him. But I have seen that 2-year Big Money Period. I've been seeing him a lot lately. He's been popping up on like stories, or I've been seeing people posting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, man. I think it's always important that we, that we give the flowers, man. that we give the flowers, man. But yo, bro, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, man. It really has. I look forward to us continuing to build a relationship, you know.
Right.
I definitely want to do something else with you though before this comes out, just so that we can, you know, plug everything the right way, man. But thank you again, man, for coming on, man.
Appreciate it, man. All love, bro. I appreciate you for having me.
No doubt, man. This is High Def Razjah. Oh, before we go, make sure you drop your social media platform and any and every space that they can connect with you.
You can follow me on Instagram on High Def Razjah, HIGHDEFRAZJAH. You can also follow Evil Robot Club, exactly how it's spelled. Twitter, one High Def Razjah, exactly how it's spelled on Instagram. That's it. I don't really do the Facebook. You can email me, and if you got the bag, we can work.
That's what it is, bro. That's what. Are you familiar with this shirt I got on? It's an artist out of Chesapeake.
Yeah, if I said look familiar, I seen it somewhere else.
Yeah. Say that again.
I said I seen it like maybe once or twice. It's fire, like some designer shit though.
Yeah,
Like
it's pretty dope, man. The artist Sono Wills. He even got a stamp on the back of the shirt, and it's good quality. It feels good, man. So I think
exchange shit.
Yeah, if I'm sitting down talking to a Virginia folk, I try to make sure I'm bringing some type of Virginia apparel to the scene, man.
I got some Virginia apparel and this Rari apparel, New Habits. This his first drop, Family and Friends edition. But he got more stuff coming too.
Oh, okay. Yo, I need to. Yo, let me know when we get offline about that, man.
Got you.
All right, man. Y'all make sure y'all tune in to Razjah. This is episode 44 of the Randy Wilson podcast. We're still in season 3. See you soon.